Hello, everyone. So yeah, my name is Mathijs Brand. I work for Onegini, and we've created a project together with our friends at Components, and I'd like to show that to you. So the talk is going to be about biometric authentication, and then for clients with mental disabilities, because we did this project for a healthcare institute. It's called Philadelphia. And yeah, let's get into it. So what is hot in that healthcare right now? So people with disabilities, they have the same type of thing that we as normal human beings with every company that we work with also have. You want to make your own choices. So here you see Dave, and he wants to make his own decisions. He doesn't want peanut butter because somebody else is choosing that for him. He wants to choose for himself, right? And that's kind of a trend that that is going on, and especially also in this area. So he's happy when he's in control, and there's a lot of regulation going on where we're putting users in control of their own data and control of their own actions. And I'm not sure if you're familiar with these type of regulations like GDPR and PSD2. Maybe I can see some hands with who is. That's at least some. So maybe a few words on it. So in May 2018, every EU citizen, which whichever services he used, across the whole globe, you are in control of your own data. You're allowed to say, "Give me all the data you have on me and what you use it for." PSD2 is more for banking, and it allows you to have APIs and share a part of your data with another company. Let's say you do a mortgage or something like that. So you want to provide not your whole bank account to them, but maybe they want to see it maybe 2 or 3 times, check on your balance and see if that's okay. So maybe you want to share it in apps, etc. So the trend is that all these APIs are opening up, and it's growing. We've seen it, with your resume, your CV, shopping, you're doing online, banking, etc. And here you see a little bit in time. So it started out with some gaming on apps, and then you have social, and then you're using banking. So with all these extra steps and IoT now also coming into the picture, the need from a consumer and the demand from a consumer standpoint, like I need these devices to work together. I need a solution that, that sort of lets me move between one and the next. And then the security aspect of this all is also increasing. With every step, you need kind of an integrated solution. So, because a lot more things are available now, you can do a lot more harm. You can actually, as a hacker, you can make some more money getting into all these apps. You see the trend of growing leakage and the need to secure all these APIs. And from a marketing standpoint, it's also becoming harder and harder to explain. We just didn't secure it. It's just not really explainable anymore. So basically, if you look at the security trends, you need there are a lot of ways to secure things. So on one hand, you need a server-side component and a client-side component for it to work well, and you need along with that you need some things from a very high-level security perspective, like what you need to break in. So let's say username and password is just something you know. well, anywhere. If you get a hold of that data somehow, then you're able to log in. So if you also need something you have, like your mobile device or something else, yeah, then yeah, that's getting harder. If you also need a fingerprint or a face print or an eye scan or something like that, it adds to the security. If you then use your location, it's even more. So yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be done, and luckily there are a lot of open standards in this field that you can make use of to like OAuth and a lot of standards that you can use. But if you want to make sure that your app is safe, yeah, you need to implement a lot of things on the client side, like tampering protection, that somebody doesn't just take an app and modifies it and then uses it. Jailbreak detection. You want to make sure that the communication, you do SSL. Well, SSL for banks is not enough. You need to do some encryption on top of it. And on the API side, you also want to know which devices are enrolled, which operating system they use. Is that system still safe, or are they using a very outdated version? Maybe you want to block those. So a lot of things, a lot of requirements actually add up. And yeah, so the solution that a lot of companies can choose is either you don't provide APIs. Well, you just don't open it up, or maybe just show a web app and stick to what you have. Well, that's not really a solution. The other solution is you spend a lot of effort into all these aspects and building your own solution, which a lot of banks still do, for example. But for a lot of organizations, it's just not affordable. So yeah, you can also just not secure it as much. So basically, username and password authentication is, we just say it's a mess. Well, why it's not secure and it's not user-friendly? Just people don't like using password managers. Okay, they're used to it, but people don't like it. If you have a data breach, they can start using your apps. And it's just too difficult, let alone for people with mental disabilities. But I don't know, my dad, or you probably also know, like, people just don't use secure passwords. And if they do, they use the same one, or a lot of them use the same ones all over the place. So yeah, what are the answers from most security companies? Okay, so you need that device, you need that fingerprint, or you need that something you know. So yeah, we've come up with like a Google Authenticator. If you're familiar with it, so you type the code that it uses. It's definitely secure. Is it user friendly? I don't think so, but at least for developers it still is. I mean, you can ask a developer to do this. You're able to develop great stuff with Liferay, so yeah, you can use this. But especially for people like this guy, it's just hard. Like, remember your PIN code, especially for apps that you don't maybe use every day. It's hard. So yeah, we need something that is secure and user-friendly. So you shouldn't remember a lot of things. You should basically get a lot of these things like enrollment, how to authenticate. You should get that out of the box, and it should work omni-channel. So that's basically what our company has been working on for the past 5 years, and we've created kind of an easy-to-integrate solution, and I hope we also bring this solution to Liferay, and you sort of start working and playing with it, like we did with components. And I'd like to show you like how that solution, how you can use it and how it looks like. So just pure from a user perspective. So what I'm going to show is a QR login with face recognition. And another option is also with mobile push together with a PIN or a fingerprint. So I'm going to a demo environment that's really been created like maybe in the past week, 2 weeks. Yeah, so it's really it's not I would say like completely production ready, but it's there. And it's pretty close. So what you see right here is a regular username password login that you have in the Liferay portal. And then we have some options for users that have already an enrolled app. And let me show an app example that I have right here. So we created this Authenticator for Liferay. I'm already enrolled into this app, and it's going to use my face to log in. So that's it. I'm logged into the app right now. And anywhere in the flow I would have in my normal app, I could also move as a customer to the Liferay portal. So I can do that by just scanning. Oh, let's do it like this. So you have an idea of what's going on. So I'm just scanning this this code. Make it a little bit bigger. There we go. I get the callback on my phone, and I'm logged into the portal. So yeah, that's all it is. It's very similar to WhatsApp for web. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. It works. ING, for example, is doing it now in the Netherlands as well, using QR. It's user-friendly. You don't need to remember anything. You can just use it to log in. I just now use the face recognition, but that all depends on, of course, your requirements, what you want, what you need to use. So I've enabled now face recognition, but I could use a different method to log in, like my PIN or Touch ID, or basically we have a lot of different options. So maybe a little bit of background into that world. There's a lot of different companies offering face recognition. Of course, Google is offering it even in iPhone and iPhone X. You have it now. So the need is there for a kind of a framework that integrates with all of those, because you don't know, like if you gamble on one, which we have, for example, with a company that did the eye verification. Well, they got bought by Alibaba, and they basically said, okay, we're not letting anybody use this API anymore. So there's a lot of solutions out there, and we focus on integrating with all of them, or at least the ones that we think are secure and useful. So I could also use just a fingerprint to log in, of course. And one more option is to use the login, or any place in your portal. You can also use push to login. So let's use that same fingerprint right here. So I'm sending a push message to my mobile device. So I get the push message. So I don't even have to know in this case where the app is on my iPhone. I just need to have it installed once. And especially if you're using like for insurance companies, like how often do you log in, right? So you get this push message. I say, yeah, okay, I want to log in. I show my fingerprint, and okay, and right there in the portal, I'm logged in again. Now, there's a lot of different ways you can use this for. So you can use it just as a second factor authentication for login. Yeah, okay, great. So you can choose, okay, maybe I want it to only show this when you use your username and password, or and then as a second factor. But you can also just completely replace username and password with this solution. So there's a lot of different ways. Customers are using it in a lot of different ways. But yeah, you want all of the options. So how do you set this up? Well, you can call Maarten right here. That's the easiest answer. And he will help you to set it up. But basically what we offer is our easy-to-use API. So you don't need an Android developer who knows everything about security, but you don't even need an Android developer to start out with this, with an app that I was just showing to you. You can just integrate by calling our APIs. And we have some great documentation actually online where you can read more about the framework, how it works, and it's just a REST API call to see for the user which methods does he have enabled. Does he have face recognition set up on his device, or does he even have a fingerprint on his device? Well, then you don't show that option, for example, that you saw on the portal. And you can then just send a request. Hey, please authenticate. So for the push, you need a user ID, but for the QR, you don't, because you already set up the app, and the app already knows the user ID. Yeah. So you need to implement a couple of things, like depending on, of course, your requirements, you need to sign up to register the user. So we actually also implemented that. So you just go in the portal to the section about your user, and just like a Google Authenticator, you add, you scan the code. Actually, I should show that, right? So we've created this QR registration. So all I need to do is I can forget the device. So I need to register again with this device. So it asks me during the flow, yeah, please scan the QR code to register. So I just scan the code, and then I create a PIN code, which is for us kind of the basic thing that everybody has, because you don't need anything special in your app to do this, and that's it, and you're able to log in and use everything. And then you can enroll for a fingerprint or start scanning for your face recognition, etc. So yeah, our whole sort of setup was to get started and bring this Liferay experience to the next level, right? So that's our goal. So use your mobile APIs to secure, and yeah, hopefully we can integrate and start some projects together to get this started. So actually, I have quite some time left. So maybe people have some questions.
Is it on? Yeah. I didn't understand exactly the mechanics. So first, me as a user, I need to scan the code that is generated inside Liferay. And this is like unique for my account in Liferay. Or what's it? When I register as a user to use this
yes.
Scanning.
Yes.
So Liferay generates unique for me QR.
Yes, so you do a call to our backend and say just generate a code. So you already have logged in as a user in Liferay. So from that moment on, you already trust this person. And then you send to our API the user ID that you want to add the second factor for. And you get back a QR code that the user then scans. So then we know, okay, this user has this device, and we take care of the rest. And then from that moment on, you can use that user's call in the for push or for the QR. You can use it.
So then, excuse me, when the user is logging in, with the QR already. Then from the telephone, they basically send to you, and
Yes.
then through your service,
Yes.
it goes back to Liferay to say, yes, this is the same user.
Yes,
Something like, let's say, SSO handshaking.
Similar. Yeah.
Similar.
Yeah, yeah. So maybe I'm not. I can go into take you through the APIs. I'm not sure if it. Let's do that. Show you a little bit more about it. So this is really about like okay, once the user is already registered. So maybe I should also say that the registration part, there are a lot of different options actually that people use. Some use it kind of cold turkey, that you have to sort of first log in. First download the app, and then you have to register it. Some insurance companies send letters with a QR code that you have to scan. For some, like Philadelphia, they'll do it together with an employee and do it that way. So there's a lot of different options for the Dutch railways, for example, in the Netherlands. We kind of do it on the fly. So it really so you have kind of a user migration process. So a lot of different ways. So first of all, but what we did here is with the QR registration. And yeah.
Take additional question. Hi. So at first, really cool talk, interesting approach. And what I want to know is, how do you secure the connection between the service and the end user's device? Do you use certificates, or how do you do that?
Yes, yeah. So there are a lot of ways that we do it. Maybe from an architecture standpoint, this kind of gives a high-level overview. So we do certificate pinning. So first of all, so that's something that you need. So we have a token server, we call it. We have a management interface for that as well. And there you can configure the certificates, the push authentication, etc. So we have a token server that handles all the kind of the OAuth communication through our SDKs. So as a mobile developer, you don't even have to know that much about this part. All you do is you call go through the APIs and they take care of it. Things like payload encryption, for example, is just a button in the admin interface. So you can just enable it like that.
Okay. Yeah, thank you.
Does that answer your question? So
yes.
Yeah, I mean it goes really, really deep, very fast. So I'm happy to explain a bit more, but I'm not sure if yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Any other questions so far? So maybe I should just summarize them a little bit and say, okay, how could you start using this? So, like I said, it's an SDK. You can just use it as a separate authenticator, just like Authy does or Google Authenticator does, and then just use your own branding as a starting point. Maybe you don't even have an app yet, so it's a great way to just get started and enroll users, and then take that app and then build functionality further. So call the Liferay APIs through it and just allow the same experience in your app. So yeah,
Okay.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, just a question. Talking about the mobile app, if we don't have a mobile app, do you provide or do you plan to provide an application, or do we have to build one just to integrate this?
Yeah, so multiple options. So we're really a product company. So we have an app, and that's the one that we built here for this demo. So components didn't have to do anything with mobile development. So you can just start with this app. Just take it We'll help you configure it, and that's it, and take it from there. Yes, that's possible, but you may also have already a team that is using it, and you just integrate the SDK. So different ways of how you can do it, but the fastest way just to add mobile, like multi-factor authentication to your current environment, and you just have the username password. Yeah, you can just use this app, and you don't have to do much. So you can, yeah, have it running within a week is what my boss always says. But yeah, yeah, it's maybe a bit ambitious, but it's definitely not like something that is too complicated. Okay, well, thank you, everyone.